Morning, we're going in depth on the rising cost of living here in Florida. Affording property insurance is at the top of the list for so many families, and now some high-rise condominium owners are feeling the pressure of new state regulations and insurance mandates.
Reporter Stassy Olmos explains the concerns of one St. Pete condo homeowner as HOA fees keep going up. Many now have to get flood insurance on their unit 10 stories above the ground.
We're in a 15-story building, and we are on the 10th floor.
72 Sunshine Skyway Lane in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's more than a piece of paradise to Mike Steurer.
My family bought the condo, my grandparents, back in 1972. The building was originally built in 67. It was government housing, and in 72 it went to condos. So my family has owned it since then, and my wife and I were lucky enough in 2012 to be able to purchase this. And we want to use it for our retirement.
Steurer is 5 years out from that dream retirement from 2 jobs in Indiana, but he says watching the increasing cost of living in paradise is worrisome. Most recently, hearing from his property insurance company, Citizens, that he'll have to get flood insurance for the contents inside his condo on the 10th floor.
To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, paying for a product that I'll never need.
It's a new requirement passed in last year's second legislative special session on property insurance. Citizens told me in April that the goal of separate flood insurance is to help minimize any possible litigation of wind versus flood damage in future storms. But Steurer is also on the association board of the condo building and says their costs are skyrocketing.
Insurance has killed us.
From 2021 to 2022, the building's flood coverage went from $97,000 to $110,000, a 14% increase, and their property insurance went from $106,000 to $187,000, a 77% increase.
We've already raised the HOA fees because we did our due diligence for the new law because of the condo collapse.
After the Surfside condo collapse in 2021, Florida lawmakers passed Senate Bill 4D, requiring milestone inspections and condominiums to have enough reserves in place to make any necessary repairs.
It's like, oh my God, how are we going to pay for this? So we're going to have to do an assessment.
At the very end of legislative session this month, Florida lawmakers passed a revision to that original Citizens flood insurance mandate. They're now excluding condominium units. The bill is awaiting the governor's signature.
We're expecting these changes to go into effect.
I went to Citizens Insurance to ask what will happen if the mandate does change, and new customers have already been mandated to get flood coverage since April 1st.
Right now, the law is that for new policyholders, you are required to have flood insurance to obtain a Citizens policy. That law remains in effect until it is changed.
I then reached out to FEMA, who runs the National Flood Insurance Program, to ask if condo owners can cancel if the mandate is removed. A spokesperson told me that policyholders can get a refund if they request to cancel within the 30-day waiting period before it goes into effect. The NFIP only allows midterm cancellations if a lender no longer requires flood insurance. In St. Pete, I'm in-depth reporter Stassy Olmos, ABC Action News.
And Citizens Property Insurance still advises anyone within the state of Florida in a high-rise or not to have flood insurance. Citizens, as well as FEMA, both recommend that condo owners talk with your insurance agent to see what your options are moving forward.